to the Pop-Up Master. Hey everybody, it's Matthew Reinhart. Welcome to the Pop-Up Masterclass. It's great to be back to teach you how to make pop-ups. And here I am in my studio. Oh, you have so many books. But today we're going to do something, this whole semester we're going to do something a little different. We are going to make specific shapes rather than, kind of certain mechanisms. I thought it'd be cool if we worked on specific shapes. And today, because my birthday's coming up, and I love birthdays, I love them, we're gonna make a birthday cake. And you'll be able to use this mechanism on all kinds of other things, but I thought it'd be cool to teach you this. All right, so hey, let's get started. Okay, first, what do we usually do when we start making our pop-ups? Well, we need a substrate, we need a card, we need a base page, right? And that is so nerdy of me to use the word substrate. Actually, you need a substrate for which to build the mechanism here. Yeah, we just need the card, okay? Stop making it complicated, Matthew. All right, so we're gonna take this piece of cardstock and I'm gonna just fold it down the center, just like this. Alrighty, I'm going to fold it down the center, and this is going to be our base page. And you know what else we need? We need a pencil. And is it sharpened enough? You think? Yeah. Let's see. I think so. Well, let's make sure. Yeah. There we go. Sharpened enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my ruler and just make the line where the fold line is at the center of my base page, just so, now you don't need to do that at home, but I'm going to do it so that we can see that line. So when we're building, we're going to build a round cake, right? Ooh, like a round cake. And which is actually, if you think about it, it is a cylinder, right? But we're going to make a short cylinder. So let's start out making this cake. First, what we're going to need to do is we need some circles, right? We need the circle for the top of the cake. So we're going to need something to make a circle. Now you can use do I have one of those around here? Let's see. Ooh, let me run over here. So I can use a compass to make a circle, but this is cool and great, but not everybody has this. So I thought it would be a good idea to make my circle using something that everybody has. And so I just got a glass. Okay, I just got a glass, and I'm going to use this to make my circle. So let's get a piece of cardstock. And I always have I know that all my cardstock isn't always the same shape. In fact, a lot of it, if you see, there's a lot of scrap stuff. I do that all the time. If I have extra paper at the end of building something, I try to keep all my scrap because you never know when you're going to use it, right? All right, so this is going to be my circle, and I'm going to very carefully trace it with my pencil. And make sure you go around it and you're real tight with your pencil around the shape. Let's see, can you see that? So I didn't do it, I was careful not to sort of, be real messy. We don't want that. That's not a real good circle, right? This one is much nicer. See how clean it is? Okay, and then we're going to follow along the edges and we're going to cut it out. And so this is going to be our template circle, and that we're going to use. And we're also going to use it within the pop-up that we're making. Now, I'm not only going to make the cylinder for our cake pop-up, but I'm also going to come up with some ways that we can add stuff on top of it, like maybe, I don't know, maybe some candles. What's cool about this is with this mechanism that we're going to be able to do is you could actually make several layers on top of each other if you want to. We're just going to do one, I think, for now. Maybe we'll do two. I don't know. It's good. We're going to see. We're going to see. I say we experiment, right? This is what's so fun about making pops. Okay, so we've cut out our circle, and what I'd like you to do after that is to fold it in half and make sure that the edges sort of line up. Now, they're not going to be 100% perfect if you see, I don't know, but that's pretty good. So now we've got this folded in half, and we're going to use our pencil. I'm just going to rub the lead. Oops. I'm going to rub that lead on that fold, so that should show us where the center is. All right, so next up, we need our base page. So base page, come back here. Alrighty, there's our base page. And let's see, I would put our circle at the middle and make sure that the center line is lined up with the circle and the base page. And then what I want to do is I want to trace it. I'm going to trace that circle just like that. Can you see that? I traced the circle, the bottom of the circle. Actually, you know what I should also do? After I've traced the circle, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut. I'm going to make a cut in my circle that is parallel to this fold line. I'm going to cut it through both sides. Where's my scissors? All right, so it's going to be parallel, right? And do you know what parallel means? Parallel means this line going on will never meet this line going on. So those two lines will never touch. So we need to make sure that this one is parallel to this fold here. So let's see here. I got my glasses. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, so now we have these two parallel lines. It might have been a little off. Sometimes I can see it. There we go. All right, so we have these parallel lines. Then we're going to put this back in place, and we're going to trace those lines 1 and 2. Okay, so now that's what we should have on our base page. And you know what? I'm gonna erase. No, I'm gonna keep that circle. Well, yeah, what the heck? I'm gonna erase that too. Okay, so now there is our shape on the base page. All right, so next up, we need to make the sides of the cake, right? The sides of the shortened cylinder that we're gonna make. And I think I'm gonna choose a different color. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, I love that color. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some long strips. I think to start, we're going to make this about 1.5 inches tall. We're going to make a strip of cardstock that's going to go on the outside, and it's going to need to be a certain height on both sides so that it is a constant rectangle strip. So I'm going to measure it out as being, maybe 2 inches. Sometimes when I'm talking, my voice gets really high. Well, maybe this. And sometimes my voice gets so high talking like that, it's kind of freaky. Oh, I don't know. Oh, well. Okay, so there we go. I marked it on this. It's the same, distance on this side and this side. And then I'm just going to, let's see if you can see that mark. I used my ruler on both sides. There's that and that. And I'm just going to make a line just like that. And then I'm just going to cut it. So I need at least one. We might have to make 2 of these strips. So this is going to go on the outside of our circle. Let's test it. Let's see how much we're going to need to go on the outside. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at our drawing of our circle, and I'm just roughly holding it at the center here. See, so it's at the center right here, and we're going to see how much half. We'll go around half of the circle, and I'm a little bit over. It doesn't have to be perfect. I would make sure that I actually made the side a little bit bigger, just to give it some space. And let's see, it's a little bit bigger. So let's say this is about that distance right here. Okay, I went on the internet and I did some stuff. I did some research because I couldn't remember my geometry well. Okay, so the circumference of a circle equals 2 pi r, right? Okay, so pi is 3.14. Now this is only if you really want to get really technical with getting all these numbers, right? So the circumference, which is all the way around the circle, and then the radius, which is from the center of the circle to the outer edge. Or C, the circumference equals the diameter times pi, which is 3.5. So the diameter is all the way across. All right? So that's math, right? That's math. If you really want to know, the circumference, how long this should be, but that's so much math. We don't need to do that. We're having fun, right? We don't need to get the calculators out, right? I just want to give you all information about how you can find this if you want to be really, really specific. I am not going to be specific. I am just going to look and see, oh, look, that is half of my circumference. So right there is where the mark is. I had a little math break. That's a little mark, when that's going to be half of my outer cake. The outer side of the cake where the frosting can go and all that. So the reason why I just folded that there is now I know where to cut. I'm just going to mark it for you so you can see where that fold is. All right, so I'm just going to cut that. And I'm going to save this because we're going to need this in a bit. So that's going to go on the outside like that. Okay? And the other thing we're going to need a second one of these. So let's just come over here. Let's see. Oh my God, that's amazing. Do you ever have those things happen when you're designing something or making something and you aren't even thinking that something is going to be the same or something's... Look at that. That was totally not planned, that this is the exact measurement. Pretty close. That's amazing. Sometimes unplanned things happen that are pretty cool. I like that. Coinkydinks. Coincidences. I love coincidences. So that's really great. So we need a second strip that is, I think it's 2 inches tall. Just like this. This is going to be the outer wall of our cake. So we have 2 of those. And where's our circle? Okay, so this is what we have so far. So, all right, we've got our circle, we've got our sides. Now what we need to do is we actually have to make some of the interior of this, some of the struts underneath the cake to make the platform work properly and to make the top of our cylinder work. So what we need to do, we're going to be making some struts from our extra, this is our extra cardstock that we have. And we're going to make a strut that goes down the center of our this is going to attach to the center fold of the top of our cake, right? But the only thing is, we need it to be slightly shorter than the outer part of the cake. So what I'm going to do right now is, I'm gonna slice off. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use a different color for the interior struts. Okay, so we're gonna take this piece right here, and I'm gonna just measure off. Where's my ruler? So it's 2 inches. I'm just gonna knock off. How about I'm gonna knock off a 1/4 inch on each side. So there's a 1/4 inch. Just want it to be slightly shorter, so that our cylinder works properly. And so then I'm going to cut this going across. That. Let's make sure I do that properly. There we go. All right, so we've got that. This is going to be our center. And we also have to make sure that this center piece, look, it's a little too wide. So let's cut it right about there. Doesn't need to be exact there. Let's double this up too. There's going to need to be some extra strength on this piece. So, I wanted to make it yellow, right? So what I'm just going to do is trace it like that. Oopsie, come here, paper. This is going to be our central strut. There's our other, this is going to be the other strengthener. I'm just going to glue that or tape it. Now you can use glue to put these two together. I'm just going to use double stick tape. So this is double-sided tape. And Tape this down, and just like that. Yeah, that's, yeah. And you're going to see I'm covering it. Make sure you don't let any of your double stick, on the outside of that, because then it'll be a mess. Here we go. There we go. That's pretty close. Oopsie. Let's see. And if it goes over the edge, if you've made your strengthener just a little too big, just snip it off. All right, so this is going to be our central strut. So our central strut here is actually going to tape to the base page. And we're going to use some one-sided tape like this. This is one-sided Scotch tape or transparent tape or whatever brand. Now you're going to see I taped it on one side here. It's at the center of our centerfold. And I'm also going to tape it on the other side just to make sure it stays in place. And you're going to see what I'm doing. You see me like rubbing my fingernail, or what's left of my fingernail? What I try to do is I try to push the tape, make sure it's really sticking. And I kind of push my fingernail in there to make sure that, it's really anchored in, that tape. Because sometimes you can put tape on and it's not really pushed into the little crevice there, and it makes a nice hinge. This will work better for you. Okay, so we've got our central strut, and we've got our circle that's going to be the top of our cake. And I think what we need to do, well, before we're going to tape this here, but I think what I want to do is I want to add, I think I might want to add some struts to come out and through our cake so that we can put candles on them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that it is, I'm going to make, let's move in here, let's move a little closer. And I'm actually going to just draw a line on here. And what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to make a slot, kind of like that. And we're going to make sure that it is these lines need to be parallel to here and here, all right? And I'm just eyeing it for now, but if you wanted, you could, use your ruler, or you could actually, here's a cheaty way to do it. Cheaty. Okay, so I'm using the edge of my paper here. I know that this corner is a right angle. That's 90 degrees, right? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. So I've made two right angles. Right angle, or they're right lines, or they're lines that are at a right angle to this edge. And then, once I've made those lines, I'm going to erase this, because that wasn't right. Then I'm going to use this edge one more time, and I'm going to use that to guide and make another right. Because if you make a right angle on a right, or a right on a right, that makes it parallel, right? Right. I'm saying right so often. Sheesh. Okay, so now there is my little slot that I'm going to make. Actually, I think I'm going to move. Sometimes I change my mind about where I want to build something. So let's see, what do? I use my line. See how it's lined up on that edge? Let's give in just a little bit more. So there we go. See how high my voice gets when I talk about that stuff? Yeah, it gets real high. Real high. All right, there is my slot. See that? And I'm going to just use, where's my nice little scissors? I'm just going to poke my scissors in there and cut them out. And I'm poking it through one side. I'm actually poking it through both sides. So I want to get in there, and I want to make the slit, but I want to make sure that the slit shows up on both sides. Now, if it's too hard for you to cut both sides, do one side at a time, but you want to make sure that they're both in the same place. The reason why, that's why I'm doing them right through the paper, both sides of the paper, because I want them to exist on the same side. You'll see when I'm done. Let's see here. So there's my little slot that I've made. A slot has a little bit more area than a slit is just one cut. A slot actually is a box, a little miniature box, okay? So see what I did? Now I have two slots, and they're not the prettiest, but that's okay. We'll dress them up later. There we go. I'm just making them look a little prettier. Well, that's good enough. All right, so there we go. There are our two slots that we've made. All right. So now we need to tape this edge to this edge of our central strut. Let's use some one-sided tape. And we're going to just tape it down just like that. So see, that goes like that. And again, you know what I might just do, just for the heck of it, tape that just like that. So now it's extra strong. And we have, what we're going to need next is we're going to need, let's see, we're going to need to make some more struts, and we're going to make them fit and poke through these slots. So what do? We take some of our, let's use this yellow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from here to here. All right? And I'm going to measure that much. And let's now I want to show you a little trick I always do. Let's say you want to make this line, make sure it's parallel to this edge here. What do? Well, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a piece of paper like this, and I'll use this instead of using like a ruler and measuring both sides. I'll use this, and I'll make sure that this edge here is all lined up. This is the cheating way that I can make parallel lines and right angle or right lines and stuff like that. See, just goes right across, and now we're guaranteed that that is going to be the same on both sides. See that? Now, I may have drawn that line going across there, but that's where we're going to tape. That's where we're going to use to tape, but we're going to actually have this. This is going to be a layer that goes through our little slot here. So let's make another line a little bit higher. I don't know, about there. Just like that. And we're going to make a second one. Right, just going out. Now what I'm going to do is, now that I have those lines, I'm going to cut a rectangle, kind of like this, from our main measurements here on this paper. And what I want to do is I want to make sure it fits through the slot. Ooh, that doesn't fit. So let's narrow it down a little. Nope, still not. There we go. Look at that. All right, so now I'm going to stick that through there. I'm going to use some one-sided tape, and see that measurement here, the measurement that matches that. We're going to line up that line. Let's get in there close. All right, let me do the focus. Okay, see that? Now we're going to line it up just like that. Sometimes you got to get in there close. All right, so now that's attached there. And what I think we're going to do, once it's attached here, it's going to find its place where it's supposed to go on the base page, because it's very much like a layer. And we're going to tape it down over here. Make sure you don't have tape coming up here or here. So now, okay, so we've taped on that side. Let's do the same thing over on this side, over here. So now, look, we've got two layers coming through our surface there. Look at that. Those are so nice. We can use those and make something on top of our cake. Or actually, well, I'll show you later what you can also do with that. And then, you know what? What if we made a slot right here? Then we could have some of this, what did we call this? A strut? This strut could come through. So maybe I'll add something there. So what do? Sometimes I make mistakes and realize something I did doesn't quite work, so I'm just going to pull that up real quick because I want to add something here. And I'm just going to draw what I'm thinking about doing. Let's see if we can see it. I'm going to take this off real quick. Yeah, this is what happens sometimes, folks. You get an idea to do something later on as you're building something, and sometimes you have to take it apart, and it's okay. You know, I tell this to everyone all the time. Mistakes are okay. This is how we learn, everybody. This is important, and like my life is. I swear, my life is a mistake. I don't know how some of the things happened that they did, but I'm happy for everything that has happened, and I've learned from them. That's for sure. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make a slot on that fold. So I'm going to pull in a little bit more, and then so that you can see, I'm just drawing along that edge right there. Just like that. All right, and I'm just going to use my scissors to poke through and cut out that box. Just like that. And I'm going to make this over here. Cut that. There we go. So now I have a nice slot in the center, and I can have paper coming through using this as its base. So, and then I'll put this back in a second. Why don't I use some of this cardstock? Let's see, and I'll make a piece that goes through there. Just like that. Gotta cut this piece, this little rectangle. Pull back so you can see a little bit more. When I'm doing these videos, man, I mean, I get the great beginning shot, and then I come back and I just move the camera all around, and oh well. Just as long, I want you to be able to see what I see. I'm going to poke this through here. So see now, that's going to be, when it opens, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 different things coming through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some double stick just on this area here. Double-sided tape, double sticky. And I'm just going to poke this through, stick it to the central strut, and now that's in place. And then, oh, this was the piece I took off. And I'm just going to tape it back in. All right, there we go. So there's the top of our cake. And then there are some different, these are the things that are going to be on top of the cake. Look at that. That's cool. All right. But, like, what good does this do us? It doesn't really work. It just flops all around. We need to make the sides. So let's get started doing that. All right, here are the two sides of our cake. And what we need to do is we need to find the center of this piece, each piece. And so let's just measure it. It says that it's 6.5 inches. All right. So half of 6.5 is, let's see, 3.25. Right. So this is the center of that piece, that little area there. Okay. And what we're going to do is we need to make sure that center is lined up with the center of. See these two lines here, 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 and here, here. We need to make sure. Let's measure this and see what that size is. It's about, let's say it's about 1.5 inches. All right, so it's 1.5 inches. So what's half of 1.5 inches? Well, we basically need to stick this. This needs to be at the center of this line. We can just look at it. Look, let's get in here close and see. Let's see here. So the half point is about right there. So there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to tape this down just like that. All right, so see it's the center of that little flat line that I did. So I taped it on that side. I'm going to tape it on this side. And make sure that your tape does not exceed that line there. All right? Because it needs to be able to curve and meet the other side. Okay, so there's one side. Now watch, we've taped this down on both sides so it has a nice, good, and remember what we do with our finger? Kind of push that tape in that crevice. Now we're gonna lay this over on this side. And see, look, that's where it should meet. This edge here should meet our side, our cake side, our cylinder side. And we're gonna tape that down right there. Just like that. Just gonna tape on that edge. Just like that. And look what I did. There's tape sticking out there. So I'm just going to cut it off. Because it's never good to have like tape that's just like randomly flying up. Okay, so we have this side. And essentially what we've done so far, those are just layers, right? Those are just layers in there. All right, so we've done that on that side. And we're going to need to do the same on this other side. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eye it. So let's make these cake the sides of the cake meet. And let's use some one-sided tape, and let's have them meet together. So I'm going to add some tape to this edge. I'm just going to pull them together and see how this looks. Now, I'm not sure yet if that's going to look. That's not quite what I want yet. Let's look at this side. We'll check it out. We're almost there. Sometimes we got to make some changes along the way. So let's check this out. Let's see if it works first. All right, so we've made those cake edges match, right? All right, we've almost got our cake, but it needs to be a little rounder, right? Don't you think? So what I might do is I might pinch in some of these edges. Let's see, that measurement right there. That looks good. Let's do this side. And what I'm doing is I'm just finding where I want my cake edge to make. Okay, so that's how that is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I've found those little pinch marks, I'm going to just cut open the sides of my cake again, just like that. Just like that. All right, and what I'm going to do is now I've got these little marks that I just made there and there. And I'm going to slice off that extra area of the pop on that side. And then let's look here. Where are my pinch marks? My pinch mark. So now we're again going to try to attach these two. All right, we need some one-sided tape. We're going to do this one more time. And now, look at that. Pop-up cake. Pop-up cake. Look at that. That's so cool. Now, you could, if you wanted to, we could have cut these a little bit more so that the cake was maybe a little bit rounder, or we could have made the cake a little less circular and pushed this out a bit. But I think this is good for us for right now. This works really nicely. And what's cool is we can actually, because we have this surface coming through, if you wanted to, you could build a whole smaller layer of this cylinder on top of this to make a multi-layer cake, if you wanted to. There we go. Whoa, look, I made a second layer on my cake. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. And you know what else I did? Is I added a little slot at the top there. And now, if I want, I can add stuff like birthday candles if I want. Like so, let's see. Now you could keep adding cylinders higher and higher and higher if you wanted to. Now this could also be something else. Like when I look at this, you know, you could turn this pop-up into a lot of other different things. But I just thought this was a great one to get started for a birthday cake, because everybody's birthday, other people's birthdays happen every month. And you know, now that you know how to make one, you could make something special for somebody else. And I just thought that would be really fun. And ooh, let me finish decorating this. Alrighty, let's see how I decorate. Whoa, look at that! Happy birthday to me! Oh yeah, you can decorate your cake. You know, you can use markers, crayons. You could glue little jewels on there or something. I should have done that. There it is. I hope you've enjoyed this class, everyone, this pop-up master class with me, your professor, Matthew Reinhart. And be sure to, you know, if you've got comments, be sure to let me know if you want, you know, other types of pops for me to show you. I'd be happy to do it. We're going to have a lot of fun this semester, I think. So, you know, stay tuned. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Do all the stuff you're supposed to do. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye, class. Oh, make sure to show all your work.